Hi there, this is Penelope, and this is the first in the series of videos that match DE4102, the Engineering Maths 1 paper for the New Zealand Diploma in Engineering. This first video is just a very basic review of things that you should know. If you don't know, you may have forgotten, so let's get straight to it. One of the things about maths is that we all have to talk the same language and that we all have to follow the same rules. So we need to look at some ordinary words. Addition, when we're talking addition, we're also talking about the sum of two variables. When we're talking subtraction, we may well be talking about the difference of two variables. Multiplication, that's where we'd be talking about a product, and that also has the idea of factors in there as well. Division, we could also be talking about a quotient. We may make reference to the numerator or the denominator, or we may talk about the divisor as well. If we're going to be doing things, performing operations, we all have to abide by the same rules. We all have to do the operations in the same order. You may have learnt this as BEDMAS, in which case the E is for exponents. That gives you a clue then what the O is for. It must be for the same thing. It's for the order of, and that simply means the power of X. So that is the order that you have to do things for, unless there's only plus and minus, in which case you work left to right. And if there's only times and divide, then you're going to work left to right as well. If you're working with your e-text, this is all on page 8, and you might look at questions 1 and 2 on page 8. After you've done that, you can work on operations on numbers in my math lab. A particularly important type of number is a prime number. And these numbers have a very, very strict definition. It's a number that has exactly two different factors, itself and 1. Now 1 is not a prime number because it's only got the factor of 1. Itself is 1, so it kind of doesn't fit. But 2 is a prime number. 3, 5, 7, not 9, 11, 13, 17, 19, and so on. Just some notation bits here. If we have a to the power of n, it means a times a, n times. So 6 to the power of 3 means 6 times 6 times 6, and so on. 12 to the power of 2 is 12 times 2, 144. You also need to remember the implications of signs when you are dividing and multiplying. If two numbers are divided or multiplied, then if one of them is negative, then the answer is negative. And if both numbers are negative, then the answer is positive. So looking at the table, positive times positive gives you positive. Negative times negative also gives you positive as well. Have a go at some of these. We will do them in class. We'll do some selected ones in class, but don't use a calculator. Use the BEDMAS or BODMAS rule. So, for example, in M, you're going to have to do what's in the bracket first. So 2 plus 3 is 5, and then you're going to square that. Sometimes we need to approximate a number, and you'll be given various instructions as to how you approximate a number. In this case, the question is round this number, 0.37, to the nearest tenth. Well, if you think about it, 0.37 is closer to 0.40 than it is to 0.3, so rounded to the nearest tenth would be 0.4. If we're talking about significant figures, then there's the instructions there. If we're talking about a number 73500, that is actually 3 significant figures because it's just these 3 that are significant. If we're looking at this one, 0.000, lots of zeros, 108, that is to 3 significant figures, because those ones are the significant figures. If we're going to estimate using a number of decimal places, then there's a procedure to go through. Let's have a look at 35.1237, and suppose we want to round that to 3 dp. We're going to look to the 3rd digit. Now, look at the one on the right of that. That's more than halfway, so we will round up. So that number will be approximately rounded to 35.124.